Alright everyone, so today I am visiting Ahmed's garden here in southwest Sydney near Campbelltown, and he has a beautiful property. He is part of multiple Facebook groups and he shares photos and videos of his figs and some other trees, and he's been eating them. So I said enough is enough. Time to share those figs
before he demolishes them all.
Yeah, before you demolish them, all of them, and the season ends and I go hungry. So thank you so much, Ahmed, for inviting me here.
Assalamu alaikum. Thanks for coming here. I appreciate it.
And yeah, just first of all, how did you get into gardening and growing these fruit trees?
I've always had a love for gardening. Ever since I was young, I would throw a seed of a watermelon, like a store-bought watermelon. My parents would buy. I would get the seeds, throw it in the ground, and just watch it grow. And I enjoyed watching things grow. I don't know, it was just in part of my genetics, I think, and it just stayed there. So eventually, when I bought this property, the first thing I did was clear this whole area. It was just bush. It was just sort of a wild bush, and sort of it was a bit of a mess. I cleaned it all up, and I slowly started planting, ornamentals and trees and mulch that make it look nice. Started working in the back. You can see on some of the earlier videos I've got, or the shorts, how it used to be before and it is now. I've started a food forest in the back. It's just a hobby, and I believe it or not, I enjoy other people eating it. I like watching. I don't know how you are.
I do.
I love watching someone else eating
if a fruit comes on, like first time in the season or first time like on the tree, I give it to my wife.
Yes.
To let her try it.
Yes. Before I try, I get joy from other people's joy eating my sort of fruits.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I get satisfaction. And yes, I've made and then obviously being from a Middle Eastern background, I started collecting figs. They're not very common in Australia. There's a couple of basic varieties, black Genoa, brown turkey. They're good if you don't know any better, but there's some amazing, from what I researched, actually, it's the most diverse fruit on earth in terms of naturally occurring varieties in the wild, not man-made, how they breed them and cross to produce in labs. Naturally occurring varieties, there's almost 1,000. The most naturally occurring varieties of fruits on earth is the fig.
So when did you buy this property, and how big is the property?
Okay, so I bought this property in late 2015,
about 10 years
November,
now?
Almost 10 years old. 2017. It's 1,200 square meters, 1,200 square meters. The house itself is not very big. It's probably less than 100 square meters, but
which is good.
That's what I wanted.
Gardening.
I don't care about the house. I care about the gardening. It's exactly what the doctor ordered for me. I wanted big land. My dream is to have a acreage. But financially it's hard to get acreage, very hard.
We live in Sydney, come on.
It's Sydney, getting a chicken coop is $1 million in Sydney, it's not cheap. So getting a 1,200 square meter house for my budget was perfect. So I purchased it.
Was there anything else in the property, like was there a fruit tree here?
The only fruit trees there was in the back, they're gone now, was a Valencia seedless.
A citrus orange,
Citrus orange. So Valencia seedless, a lemon tree, and a honey murcot, and they're all gone now. They perished. And that would have been, at the time, this house was built, I think, 1991, and so it would have been almost 30 years old when I bought the property. So they were old trees. So I think they just expired at that time. And
what type of soil do you have, and what is the climate here?
Okay, so clay soil. I mean, you got some topsoil on top, maybe a couple of 100 mil, a few inches, maybe 4 inches to 8 inches max of topsoil. Then you hit hard clay. Most of Sydney is hard clay, unless you start going towards the coast. Then you start getting sort of loamy, sandy soils. But inland, this is a little bit inland for Sydney, not too deep in. I mean, you can drive half an hour to the beach. We're still pretty close, but so it's very, very clay soil. The climate, it's a warm temperate, I would say.
Do you get frost here?
It's rare. It's rare that we get frost. It's rare. I mean, you get those years where you do get 0 degrees, or they're rare. But on average, the lowest temperature Celsius would be maybe 3 degrees, 2 degrees.
I get similar. Like,
Similar, it's similar.
There's so much built out, like, you know, the highways and the houses
Exactly,
and
yeah,
everything.
there's a lot of heat emitted and things like that. But if you go deeper inland, you're going to get the lower temperatures.
All right, so we are at the front yard, which is looking very, very beautiful, very ornamental, with a great street appeal. So, what is the purpose here of all
Okay,
this?
so this is as you said, it's the front yard, and its main purpose is street appeal. You know, I can turn it like the backyard, but who wants to grow a mulberry tree, as I said, and chop and drop, you know, and in your front yard, it doesn't look very appealing, and aesthetically, it doesn't look so good. So I've decided to put ornamental plants mainly. 99% of it is ornamentals, different colors and shapes, and like I said, I like growing anything, not just necessarily fruit or vegetables. Anything that grows, I love growing it.
Okay.
That's, you know, in general, I love growing things, you know, period. So yeah, I've chosen different things. You got Australian natives, which one of my sort of favorites actually, because they thrive in our climate. You just throw them in there and they thrive. They you know, adjusted to the drought and the heat and the Australian sun. Like this one here is a Australian grass tree. I'm not sure.
Oh, this is a grass tree.
So this particular tree here is called the Australian native
looks so
grass
beautiful.
tree.
It's like right in the middle, like the showpiece.
Well, this one here is actually about 50 years old.
Oh, okay.
They're super slow growing, brother. They grow on average about 2 to 3 centimeters a year.
A year?
A year on average. So anywhere from 1 to 5 centimeters on average. So a year, it's super slow growing. You can see that they form grass-like leaves, and then they start dying out, and they keep building up. But they're so slow, and it looks like it's burnt, the trunk there, but it's not. That's naturally, when bushfires occur in the wild, this thing, subhanAllah, is designed to take extreme heat.
Okay.
And it was actually thrives in the bushfire conditions, because the fire will burn all the old leaves, and it'll aerate the tree, which it needs. And it can cope with hundreds of degrees Celsius.
Okay. All right.
So in captivity, in you know, nurseries, they get a torch and they burn it. That's what they do, to burn the old you know, dead leaves and things, because naturally that's what it needs. So they're good. They're good trees. So, and I've planted sort of ground covers.
Yeah, what is this? The silver color thing?
Okay, so that's a ground cover. I'm not sure, you know, there's so many, I forget every single name.
Yellow flowers. They look very beautiful.
They're beautiful. So, but they're extremely drought tolerant. You can throw them anywhere. You notice a lot of the council strips.
Yes, that's why I was asking, like, what is
exactly.
this? Because
they use it for a reason. The council uses it in the public areas for a reason, because they're low maintenance. They're extremely vigorous. They require almost zero water. They survive on rain alone. And almost 12 months of the year they're in flower, almost.
And all this, like, shaping of these bushes and everything, do you do it by yourself?
So yes, this doesn't actually take that form. So I prune it. I've got a cordless hedger pruner, and from time to time, depends how vigorous a plant is, I'll come and give it a haircut. And I'll print it the shape that I desire. Some I've done like a bonsai style. Some I've done. There's you know, you get artistic and you start
artistic.
Sort of, you know. Some are round, some are one. So different shapes, sizes, textures.
It's good to see a mixture of like natives and fruit trees. Speaking of fruit trees, shall we go from there and go to the mango?
Okay. So we'll start with the fruits. So this is my oldest mango tree. It's a bamboo mango tree.
Grafted Kensington Pride.
It's a grafted Kensington, exactly. That's what it is. It's actually a Kensington Pride variety, but it's a grafted type. It's supposed to be you know, more superior selection of Kensington Pride. That's about 8 years old. I planted it maybe a year or two after I bought the property. It's Australia's favourite mango, as you know.
It is a great mango.
It's a beautiful mango. You can't sort of knock it. You
can't go wrong with the Kensington Pride.
You can't go wrong. It's for us, it's the standards when it comes to mango. You always judge it against the Kensington Pride.
Yes.
Beautiful mango, good looking mango, nice and aromatic, sweet, to a bit of sour, tangy flavour. It does well in Australia. Semi-productive, depends on the year. Sometimes they can have a bumper crop. Other years they're average. Last year was super productive. This year is still good.
Still loaded.
It's no, mashallah. It's loaded. Yes, but sometimes when you have that bumper crop, you almost can't see the leaves.
Look at the size of these mangoes. Like they look really.
Mashallah,
beautiful.
they love, as you know, tropical fruits. They do like water, and especially here because I've planted on a slope.
Yep.
It's so the water doesn't hold very well. So that's why I needed to mulch heavily to retain the moisture. And I do have irrigation running through, so maybe we'll get to that later. And they love sort of wet conditions. They're tropical plants, and it looks good aesthetically in the front garden.
It does look really beautiful.
Yeah,
like
so it goes well with the garden because
hanging.
it's an evergreen, as
evergreen
you know.
tree.
You know, so evergreen. The fruits looks beautiful, you know.
Especially the new growth, all the bronze and
exactly the contrast,
the
contrast of bronze and sort of reddish to green. To fruits, then the fruits will change color to orange and yellows, and what you can't ask for more, you know. Like no one can beat that. SubhanAllah, it's beautiful.
All right, what else is edible on that side, maybe?
Okay, we'll come this way, yeah. So yeah, you can see I've done different. It's what I do. I like doing it, you know. Every time I see something out of place, it can't be out of place. I'm a bit picky like that, you know.
Especially against the black musk, like it's very striking, the contrast.
Yeah, I just done that yesterday, mainly for the, look, I've had black before, but it fades over the years and needed a new top up.
Okay.
I wouldn't put coloured mulch or anything like that in the back. I'll put natural stuff. I've got like family friends that work in the industry, mulching. They bring me truckloads of mulch because they have to pay for it to get rid of it.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
So I'll make a phone call, the boys will drop some mulch for me and I spread it in the back.
Yep.
But I wouldn't put it in the front for aesthetic reasons. It does look, so I put sort of coloured mulch in the front because it makes it pop out more. Black background to a colourful sort of trees and plants makes it look really good. Okay, so the second tree that I've got, the edible, that's maybe about 6-7 years old, is a Washington navel.
Yep.
Most common grown navel.
Yep.
Can't go wrong with it. Highly productive. Juicy, sweet fruit.
How old is this tree?
This is about 6 to 7 years old, about 7 years old. And if, when people ask me, for someone that's not really into sort of gardening or tree planting in general, what sort of trees should I plant? Hands down, citrus.
Citrus, okay.
If you're an amateur, if you're a noob, if you are just beginning, you don't know much about gardening, you can't go wrong with citrus. Sorry about that one. Yeah, sorry. Sorry about that. When they ask me what sort of fruit should I plant, I always suggest citrus for a number of reasons. One, they're evergreen, so they always look good. In spring, you get the blooms, which about the...
Which smell absolutely
it's
amazing,
intoxicating,
heavenly.
It's intoxicating when the citrus blooms, and it comes for a month or so in springtime. So you get that as a bonus. They're low maintenance. There's not much pest and diseases. Because they ripen in winter time.
Yep.
So there's no the fruit fly is not active in that time. Not many insects are active in that time, so nothing bothers it. Not many things anyway. You get some sort of leaf minor problems, but I ignore it because once the tree will grow out of it.
Yep.
When they're young, they get affected, but eventually it grows out of it. It doesn't really affect the fruit. Stays evergreen, and they produce fruit for you which look good aesthetically and tastes amazing, have vitamin C in it. And I don't know if this the reason why I believe anyway why the citrus fruit ripens in winter time, subhanallah, is because your body is in need of vitamin C to fight against the flu and other diseases and things that occur in winter time. So there's a reason for some to always eat anything that's in season. It's designed to ripen it at that time for a reason. It's subhanallah. So citrus always, if you're amateur, go citrus. Otherwise, if you want to get technical, then you start moving towards tropics and other things.
Speaking of technical, next tree, that's a technical tree.
The Namdok Mai.
Namdok Mai.
Okay, so this is my third edible in the
front yard.
In the front yard, there's only 3 edibles. This is our Namdok Mai.
Yep.
It's an elongated type of fruit.
Thai mango.
Thai mango, exactly. I planted this in late winter 2024, so it's only maybe a few months old, 4 or 5 months old. It was dripping in fruit. They're highly productive, but I took all the fruits out, the baby fruits, and left one. Only because I want to taste it off the tree. Not recommended to leave any fruit on a baby tree. Because you want to, divert all the energy into the growth rather than the fruit.
We are in Sydney. We are not in Brisbane or tropics.
No, we're not in the tropics. We are in a warm temperate sort of.
It takes a lot of time for these trees to grow. So we can't have like
this
young
is
trees producing
10 years old.
This is 10 years old. Like
it's still just a bit higher than me. So Namdok Mai, I've had it from the supermarkets. Even supermarket bought ones are still beautiful.
They are very good,
very aromatic. The kids love it. They tend to be very sweet, but all mangoes are, if you leave them to ripen to the fullest, they become very sweet. They have like a floral. I don't know if you know. They have a floral taste to them. A little bit of spiciness, which we like. We don't like straight sweetness. We have a bit of a tangy palate.
Yes,
our tongue is on the tangy side. We like things. Even the I've got grapes in the back, crimson seedless and that, and the kids have munched most of them before they even started turning colour. They like them sour, that's the way they like them. So we like it when things are a bit more sort of complex.
That's why I tell people, like, they're concerned about, mangoes can grow big in Sydney. Don't worry guys, just plant the mangoes. It will be a very, very long time before they grow bigger.
But you can control it. I mean, you can prune it down and control the height anyway. And plus, like you said, it's slow growing in Sydney.
It's a long time before you need to prune it.
Exactly.
These are very slow.
So don't be scared.
Shall we go to the backside?
Okay, we'll go this.
We have here.
Okay, so this is basically my driveway area where we park the cars, and here I've got mainly sort of herbs. Some strawberries. So I've got strawberries. They're out of season now, and the kids keep munching on them. So some ornamental. So this is thyme, Mediterranean thyme. We use it in za'atar and manouche. So this is part of the mixture. It's this with sesame seeds, roasted sesame seeds, sumac, all dried. You can see,
smell
amazing.
Beautiful.
Beautiful smell. And this is oregano.
Of course.
Which is it's also part of the mixture. So
and they are very good. Thank you. And they are very good for the bees as well. Like
bees, exactly. Good pollinators. So I'll let them go to flower because it brings in the pollinators and the bees. Rosemary.
Rosemary.
So basically, this here is more for kitchen stuff. That's anything for cooking and things
this
like
oregano, rosemary, and thyme, they are like bulletproof. They're planted right next to the driveway.
Exactly.
Getting heat all day. And they should be fine.
It's super hot because you can see the heat emitting from this concrete, and they're loving it because this is where they grow naturally.
They are Mediterranean.
Exactly. I was going to say
They need heat.
They're found in this sort of region, in a rocky, mountainous, dry, arid, lime rock sort of area where a lot of heat is emitted. So this is nothing to them. This is a walk in the park, so it's easy to grow. I've got some basil there.
Basil.
You have to have basil. Like also, like our cuisine is a lot of Mediterranean sort of influenced. So we always use basil and thyme and oregano, lime, chili, garlic. This is what we cook with.
Some chilies.
I've got some chilies everywhere. Like they're just scattered everywhere. So I've got here. I've got some there. Some chilies here. We'll get to some more.
All right, and then you have out of control grapes and some berries there.
So I've got the blackberries. Believe it or not, that's just 1 year old. This whole thing, they're super vigorous.
They are vigorous.
This is our thornless. So this is thornless. Blackberry. I planted about this time last year, and it's about to take over this whole area. So you need to
almost a weed. Almost a weed.
Yeah, they're a bit. They're not for the faint-hearted, not for the novice. So you got to stay on top of them every winter. You got to know how to prune it. You prune the old canes, leave the new canes. There's a bit of a sort of technical way to it. So yeah, this is all. You can see they're very productive. They're super productive, and they produce large berries. Tangy at this point.
Yes.
You let them turn black and ripen. They become very sweet. Beautiful fruit. So the kids always pop them and eat them as they're walking past.
What happened to the grapes? Why are they overtaking your driveway?
They're grapes. That's what they do. They overtake any area you put them in. It's a vine.
Yes.
Every year you prune it back to like a meter, and then it comes back. Stronger than ever. They're super vigorous. What
variety is this?
There's two actually there. There's crimson seedless and autumn royale. You can see here there's some fruits.
It is good. The fruit is so hidden that you know,
Yeah.
birds can't find it.
Exactly. And I've got
And you have covered them.
I've covered them with
Bonza
organza bags, or there's a few names for them. I'll fix that later. Yeah, in fact, you can have a taste of that. I don't really spray here, so there's no need to worry. One of the main reasons I don't spray with is for the kids. You know, look, I don't mind. You know,
they want, yeah.
Exactly. In extreme circumstances, if I have to spray, I would maybe in winter or something. But during the fruiting season, I stay away from it because you know, even though you tell the kids don't do it, the kids will be kids. They'll just walk past and eat it. So I don't like spraying during the fruiting season. So it's good. It's getting to the sweet side.
It's pretty good.
They're pretty good. Yeah, they're pretty good. But I'm leaning towards. I've got two. What's the other grape? I forgot the name of them now.
Pink Iona?
No. Muscadine.
Oh yeah.
So I've got two muscadine grapes in there. Well, you can see them now once we go in. They're still babies. I just planted them a few months ago.
Yep.
And once they're established, I want to get rid of these two and leave the muscadine.
Why?
Okay. Well, it's climate. Sydney is just not made for grapes. Look, they do okay, but
we are quite humid. Yeah, and they don't like it.
They don't like it.
Yep.
Unless you want to spray every single week and
you know what I've done? I've just got the grapes which are resistant to this.
You can get some grapes that are more.
I've got the Pink Iona and a couple of other varieties.
Yeah, they're more sort of used to our climate.
Yeah.
But even better is muscadine grape because
muscadine is like
they're literally
bulletproof. Texas.
Exactly,
Florida,
Texas and Florida, sort of the southern parts of the states where it's super humid and tropical. This is their native, where they're found, where natively they grow there. So I'm leaning towards that. And the reason why I plant grapes, it's not just for the grapes. You probably know that we actually eat the leaves.
Oh yeah, they are very good.
So we boil them and we stuff them. We put fillings in our rice and meat. We roll them, and it's a traditional dish that we do. There's a few ways of doing it. The recipe is on our channel. So that's the part of the reason why we so for the grape and for the leaves themselves. But if the leaves are getting affected because if the climate is not suitable, or if you have to spray it, then it becomes unedible. There's no point for me to grow it. So I'm enjoying it for now until the muscadines take over. Then I can eat the actual the leaves and I've never had a muscadine actually grape, but I've heard it's it's still pretty good. It's very large, almost a golf ball in certain varieties. Crunchy, juicy. Some varieties I've got two varieties here. Adonis and Supreme, I think the red one, which is for juicing. So I wouldn't mind doing a bit of grape juice and so that's the grapes, and it'll take a couple of years for them to take over.
Shall we enter the Fruitopia?
Fruitopia.
The backyard.
That's George's name anyway.
Sorry, George, we are stealing your name, real life Fruitopia.
No. I would want to that's copyrighted, you know.
There is a mulch. There is the mulch.
Okay, so there's the mulch.
No more.
Now, you can see how thick it is. So this is the natural ground.
Yep.
And that's how thick the mulch is. It's probably about 30 centimeters at the moment. About 12 inches, 10 to 12 inches.
Yep.
From that point on, yeah.
And this is the thing,
It stays moist.
It stays moist.
It stays moist. So
if it rains, Look
at this.
Yep. This is the soil that plants love.
They love it, especially trees, more than vegetables. Vegetables, they're not.
Look at the worm. He just Ahmed has just scratched.
There you go.
And the worms are out.
The earthworms, yeah. So if I can give one advice to a beginner, mulch. Mulch. It'll solve your watering problems. If you neglect them, it'll take care of the watering part. It'll reserve the water, supply nutrition, supply habitat for any things that are underground and worms and things. Mulch. Before you do anything, mulch. Then start doing other things. In my opinion,
absolutely,
you can't go wrong. So the
right. What do we have here? Another citrus?
Okay, yeah. I've got maybe close to 10 mixed citrus, for obvious reasons. You can't go wrong with citrus. This is an Imperial Mandarin. It's an Australian variety, Australia's favorite mandarin variety, cultivar. Very productive. One of the earliest ripening mandarins. They'll start coming into supermarkets around March, and they continue for about a few months after that. I like it. It's got a sweet, tangy flavor. Depends how long you leave it on the tree. It's got a good texture. We don't like things that are very soft and mushy. For example, I'm onto the Washington Navel. It's got a few chances until I think it's going to leave eventually. It's too soft and mushy. It's like a bag of juice.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a bit of a bite.
Yeah.
A bit of texture. It's too soft, too mushy. It's I've got we'll get to that. I've got another navel. Once it gets established, this is getting the sack. I might plant another mango there or something. I think maybe a mango or
mango, please.
or avocado. Yeah. Yeah. So this is our Imperial Mandarin, Australian variety. One of the best, in my opinion, Mandarin variety. It's a standard in Australia when it comes to mandarins. A patch of eggplants.
Eggplants, yep.
That's for the wife. She loves cooking. So this is your traditional.
We have some eggplants.
Yeah, there's some. We keep using them. So you see some eggplants here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Quite big.
Yeah. So this is the traditional black pearl. Black pearl. It's a don't know what the origin is, but it's an Italian Mediterranean. Let's call it Mediterranean old school OG eggplant. They call it a black pearl, which is all the Mediterranean uses. For cooking and things like that. This is for pickling. So these don't grow much larger.
They will stay small. Okay.
Much larger than this. That's as big as they go. There's a couple of varieties. This is they call this the Paria baby. Oh, sorry, not this one. This one here. So yeah, this one here. So it looks like a Japanese type of eggplant. See how it's a black stem rather than green.
Yep.
And it's got like a beautiful sort of pearly purple black color. So this is a new variety from the States. They call it a Paria baby. They don't grow much larger than this. They're good for stir fries. You chop them in half from in a stir fry, you mix them a bit. Very nice. We use them more for pickling. We love our pickles.
Okay.
It's part of our culture as well. So all these small eggplants we use it for pickling. The big stuff is for cooking.
Shall we go from this side first?
We'll go this way, yep. So this is our chili section.
All right.
Okay.
You're big on veggies.
Big on anything that grows. Like I said, anything that grows, I love it. Especially if you can benefit from it. You know, like vegetables and herbs and fruits, and you're getting something in return. Flowers, you get compliments, and ornamental, you just get compliments. This, you get compliments, and you get a nutrition. I wouldn't taste that if I were you.
No,
this is the reason why. This is the Calderona Reaper.
Okay, all right.
This is the #1 hottest chili on earth. That's a new one which I planted this year. This is that's been here since last year. That's why it's a bit old.
Is this for your enemies, the chili?
Anyone that upsets me, I'll just drop something in his food and it's finished.
Okay.
So we don't use it in cooking. The reason why we plant it, because we make our own dried powder, chili powder. You know, we just pick the chilies.
Okay.
We let them dry, or you can speed things in a air dryer.
Air dryer.
Or leave them somewhere shaded to dry until they become crispy. Then we'll grind them, and we'll make chili powder. But we like it a bit on the hot side, so we drop 1 or 2 of these. So you have maybe, I don't know, maybe a whole bag of your average sort of Thai chilies to one of these, and it takes it from like 5 to 10 heat.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why.
This is a good place for chilies as well, right next to the driveway.
Next to the driveway, almost sun all day almost. You know, so basically from maybe 11 o'clock or so till the sun sets, because that's the
All
west.
the afternoon sun.
Afternoon sun sets this way, they cop the heat. There's a few varieties here, you know. There's some habaneros, there's Anheim, there's all sorts of that's a Hungarian chili. It's a mixture, so
No, it's good.
each one's for cooking, one's for pickling, one's for powder, so you just mix it up. Another basil. I tend to throw basil here and there. Again, they're good for pollinators.
Yep.
And they're good repellent. You know, fruit flies don't like them much. It repels them as well, to some extent. So they attract pollinators, they repel haters basically. So, you know, basil there, lavender to attract pollinators. So I throw them here and there, just to attract pollinators to the garden. This is the muscadine grape, the baby one. Okay. So I planted that a couple of months ago. It's already made its way up and integrated. There it is there. It's made its way into the grapevine. So eventually when it's old enough to take charge, they get in the sack and they're gonna, that's it there. You can see the leaves very simple, not much different. I find it a bit smoother than.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like all these leaves look, you know, a lot of disease, but they look like, you know, bulletproof.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. You can see there's like the dark green. They thrive in this sort of climate. They, you know, so there's nothing affects them. You know, You can see there's another grape here, crimson seedless.
Okay. And the one outside was the one that I tasted?
Sorry, one sec. This is, I think that's crimson seedless.
That is more round, the one I had.
Yeah, yes, this is the, I think autumn, yes, that's Autumn Royale, sorry. That's Autumn Royale. So see the difference?
Alto Maria.
Autumn Royale.
Autumn Royale.
Autumn,
okay.
as in the season, autumn.
Wow.
Royale. So they are a little bit bigger.
So
they have a bluish color. Yeah, they're more crisp. They have a more. I like them better than the crimson seedless. They're exceptionally good. These ones. See how they have a crispy, crunchy. This is how I like them. I don't like something mushy. I'll chop it out. You know, I've had some of the green ones, or they're super soft. See you later. You know, after a couple of years, I'll chop it out. It's gone. But this is a super crisp.
It is.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a shame that I have to get rid of it eventually, because the taste is exceptional on these things. They look beautiful as well, crispy. They're excellent variety. I'll cover this later.
All right, moving on. What do we have?
Okay. Okay, this is the main event now. So this is, if you can see the tag,
Bourgeois
Noir. Bourgeois Noir.
Okay.
This is a collectible.
French, Italian?
It sounds French. There's a history behind it. So basically, Bourgeois Noir got famous in France, in the area of de Soleil, in the area of Soleil. That's why you have another fig by the name of, I think, Soleil fig or something, because it was grown in that region. They turned into like a national sort of fig. But they stole it. Let's not say stole it. It was found originally. It was discovered in North Africa, in Morocco, because Morocco and France has a long history. You know, they ruled that area for a long time, and there's a lot of
not so good history.
Not so good. A big history, not so good history. Exactly. They ruled the area for a very long time, so they got a few things from there. So this was found in an area, a dam. There was a dam with a tower. They used to have a tower to overlook the dam, you know, like a water dam. And what's the, I don't know if you know the name of, it's a very productive tree, yeah.
Yep.
Very productive tree. One of the best tasting tree, excellent for this climate, one of the better ones, almost as good as Celeste, we'll get to that one. But they found it next to a water dam. There was a tower overlooking the dam. You know, the dam in Arabic is Sud. I don't know if you know. Sud means dam. Burj means tower, like Burj Khalifa.
Burj Tower, yep.
Burj Khalifa.
Yep.
Burj means tower. So Bourgeois is actually an Arabic name, but in France, in French, it sounds like Bourgeois. They can't say Burj. It's Burj Al Sud. So Burj Al Sud is an Arabic word. In France, they pronounce it as Bourgeois.
All right, there you
so
have
originally, it's
Arabic,
a
Moroccan fig.
Exactly. The French one like it, but it is. It's a French fig that was made famous in France. They made it famous, but originally it's a Moroccan fig.
Okay.
Excellent. It's a black fig, extra large. Late, none have ripened yet.
Yep, I see all of
so
them.
I think I might have to bring you one of these. The black ones, the best ones have ripened, maybe in a couple of weeks, specifically for the black ones.
I'll come over.
Extremely vigorous. One of the most vigorous trees I've got. You can see if you come see, have a look at the trunk.
How old is this tree?
This tree here is about 7 years old.
Wow.
It's one of the most vigorous fig trees. This tree here.
Did you cut down the figs as well?
Yes, yeah. You know, people would kill for cuttings. You know that. For these, it's so hard to get. You have to circulate the air. Otherwise, it will start getting fungal diseases. It's a Mediterranean
That's
tree.
what I was like looking at. The tree is like so open inside. Like there's so
you
much
have
space.
to. Yes. You have to keep it open. They don't like humidity. They don't like rain during the growing season. It's exactly the opposite as the tropical. So anything dry, they love dry summers. They love dry summers. Yeah, see what happened here originally, after a few years of planting it, it's so heavy, productive and vigorous. There was some wind and a storm, so the branch here collapsed on the floor. I let it be, so I struck roots.
Okay.
So this thing here struck roots everywhere, and it basically became another tree, and then new shoots come out of it, and that makes it stronger now. Because if you leave it upright as a standard, with all the weight on top, any you know, storms and wind, it'll just collapse. I've had issues with pomegranates as well. I've done the same thing with this one. It collapsed. I let it go. It struck roots, and it makes it stronger. It's a very you know, I would recommend this in Sydney. This the Violette de Bordeaux. Yeah, there's a lot more. You'll get to that. They grow wild. They grow wild in my backyard.
Okay, which pomegranate is this?
Okay, so this is a Middle Eastern, specifically Lebanese. It's a green type of pomegranate. It's an ancient type.
So it will remain green even if it is ripe?
No, up until the point it turns ripe, it becomes like a peachy, pinky color.
Okay.
Just before it gets ripe.
Okay.
Extra large, very thick-skinned. They're anti-fruit fly.
Okay.
They cannot penetrate it. They're that thick and hard, thick-headed, you know.
Good.
As I said.
I want this.
I'll give you some colors.
Anything that doesn't, attract
Make a
fruit
list
fly?
and you'll come your when it's time. Yeah, there's a few. So
Alright.
this is you can't buy. It's a collectible, as in it's
And what is
bulletproof.
this that is growing inside? Is it
Okay,
the hill?
so this is asparagus.
Ah, asparagus, okay.
Yeah, asparagus.
So we'll get taking over the pomegranate.
Yeah, that's what they do. They like if you plant them next to trees, and they start naturally. They're a bit
okay.
semi-climbers. They start climbing the trees and stuff. They're past this fruiting point. You know how you buy them as spears.
Yeah.
That's in spring. So in summer they die out. So all this growth will die out. In winter it'll die out. It'll dry. Springtime they'll start sending the spears, which you cut and eat. And when you're done, it's so productive. Eventually you just give up, and then they turn into branches.
I think they live for 20-30 years.
Very long time. You can't even start picking them till like 2-3 years once you plant them. You have to let them establish.
Yep.
Okay.
A lot of citrus varieties.
This is a pomelo with a cucumber climate on it.
Yep. Big pomelos.
It's a big pomelo. That's it's one of my oldest citrus. There's bigger. There's another one back there. Yeah, they grow almost watermelon size, extremely large. You can see there. Yep. They're there, and there's another.
Yep.
There's another tree with bigger fruits on it, but very productive. You can see them. It's a big tree, so it's hard to spot them. But the larger they get, the easier they are to spot. So there's one there. You can see there's one there, another one there. There's two there, another one there. There's probably, if I had to count them, maybe I don't know, 50 large fruits of this particular variety here. Okay.
What do we have here? The apples?
Apple, three-way apple.
Three-way apple. Okay, which variety are these?
We have Gala, Royal Gala, Pink Lady, and Fuji. A Fuji apple.
I've checked with multiple, I'm not an apple guy, but I've checked with multiple apple people, and they say Fuji is the number one.
It's I would probably have to agree.
Okay.
Very crisp, sweet, good texture on it, good flavor on it. Out of the three, I would probably pick Fuji as well. I mean, I'm not, this is the only apple tree I've got.
Okay.
Not an expert on apples, but I would say yes, I would agree that Fuji. There's better ones, Cox Pippin Orange, something like that. It's an English variety.
Yep.
It needs a lot of chill hours.
Cold, yeah, we don't have.
So it's a bit hard in Sydney to grow. I might, Dailies actually sell Scion wood. I might try this season when they're on sale and maybe graft a couple on there and see how it goes. That's supposed to be one of the, you don't see them in the shops because they're hard to keep and all that. So I might try that. So this is the apple, more strawberries here.
Yep.
I planted a couple that just, strawberries, they keep spreading.
You want the ground to be covered.
Exactly. So ground cover and you get strawberries out of it. So it's a plus. Okay, so here I've got some silver beet, Swiss chard. They're more of a winter plant, so that's why in summer they sort of the plants they dry up, but in winter they flourish. Another citrus. That's a navel type. So this is the one that's going to replace the Washington navel.
Okay.
So this is a navel. It's called Navelina, which I bought from Dailies actually as well. Navelina. It's a Spanish type of navel orange compared to the American Washington navel. Obviously, it's American. It's a Spanish type, but it's, to me, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion, it's superior to Washington. Has a better color. It's a slight elongated shape, large. And the texture, the reason why it wins is the texture.
A bit more bitey texture.
More a bitey, a bit of a pulpy. You can bite into the pulp. You can taste the pulp. It's not as mushy. Like Washington navel. It's like a bag of juice. Very nice, very sweet, excellent.
Maybe good for juicing, but not for fresh eating.
But they're not really because they're super sweet. What's good for juicing is Valencia seedless because it's tangy. Tangy. The tangy flavor in there keeps for longer. Washington navels, after a couple of days, they go off. You have to drink them, but.
Shall we go into this row?
We'll go here. So this is a Pafianca.
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 Is it productive?
For me, it's look, they're only young trees. I mean, probably 2 years old or something. So I can't really judge them. Yeah, but they're not the most productive for me. For me, wonderful, hands down.
Wonderful,
hands down. Look, productivity, hands down. Flavor, Pafianca. Pafianca when it comes to flavor and texture, the soft seeded.
I mean, you have to balance, right? You know, if that flavor is good, you know, that's okay. But you have to have the fruit.
But look, if I had to choose one, and if I had to sort of advise others, if they only want to plant one tree, it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
That's it.
But I've got the space, so I'm going to experiment. But in terms of flavor, this wins, number one. In terms of flavor, and wonderful has a bit of a hard seed. If you're not used to it, you might dislike it, the seed. This, you don't even feel the seeds when you bite into it. It's very soft.
Soft seed, okay.
Very soft seeded. Ratio like of the juice or flesh to seeds is very high. One of the best sort of sweet to sour flavors. Large, dwarfing variety. So it's got a lot of pluses, but so far it's not the most productive.
Yeah, it is. Not
there's only a couple there. This one is also Pafianca. Okay. That's more productive, this one. It's got larger, if you can see here. They're starting to develop the fruit there. They're a lot larger. It's got a few, so one here, there's inside over there, another one there. There's a few there. There's a few there, even down there. There's a whole bunch down there. So this is a bit more productive. That's the beast here. We'll get to that one. But yeah, Pafianca, if you have the room and you want the best tasting, then Pafianca is the one to go. This is just a trellis for beans. Yeah, beans. So I've got snake beans. I don't know if you use them in your cuisine, but we use them a lot in our cooking. You can buy them from supermarkets. They're good for sort of a stir frying and things like that.
That's such a great way to save space and like grow beans.
Exactly. Go verticals. Yeah, go vertical. And inside there, I've got another citrus. I just planted this a few months ago. This is a Suma mandarin. They call it Suma. Newish variety from Japan. It's a sort of a Satsuma variety.
It has the top is a bit.
That's what they call a Suma. You know, the Suma bump. The Suma wrestler has a bump, the hair bump. This has a big bump, and it's large because it's a cross between a mandarin and an orange. It's a large fruit. It's very sort of it's ugly looking almost. It's very jagged and it doesn't have a smooth surface. Easy to peel, but amazing flavor, like a sweetness to tangy sort of a combination is perfect. And the texture, that's what wins. Again, it's got a bite and good sort of pulp. Get it. Okay, so this is the Lebanese green pomegranate. It's my largest pomegranate. It's huge, massive.
The one there is that is same.
Same one. Okay. It's massive. Yes, so it's taken up this whole area here.
But these leaves are very light color.
Okay.
And that is
So
green.
this old branch, last year I think it collapsed.
Okay.
So I put it back, and that's it. It's once it's gonna go backwards. So I'm just getting the fruit out of it this year. I'm gonna chop it back and leave sort of the new growth.
Yeah. Okay.
That's part of the maintenance of pomegranates. Because they said they like to grow in a bush type. They don't like standard. They're very bushy.
Yeah.
So every time you lose one, you chop it, then the 10 will replace it. It's not a problem. Okay, so just quickly here before we leave.
Cherry tomatoes taking over the neighborhood.
Yes, cherry tomatoes. You can see they're just everywhere. You can try if they're very sweet. We don't buy tomatoes.
And it doesn't look like they are affected by the fruit
No,
fly.
because they grew naturally. SubhanAllah, when something grows by itself from seed, I don't plant them. They reset themselves year after year. And they're not affected by fruit fly. You can step on them. Yeah, that's fine. You can start. Yeah, that's another pomegranate. I forgot the name of it. A friend gave it to me. Red angel, something like that. Angel red.
Okay.
Angel red. I'm not sure about it. It's still a baby. But okay, so here we have a raspberry.
Raspberry.
Heritage. It's called the variety. Just planted it last year, and it'll probably be ripe by autumn. So that's the Middle Eastern green pomegranate. It's bulletproof. Nothing will affect it. You don't have to spray. Nothing thick skin. Pretty productive. I mean, it's such a big tree. You think it's not, but once you start walking around and counting them, there's a lot of fruit everywhere.
I can see like if I.
There's a lot. It's just hidden. It's everywhere, and it's very large. Once they ripen, they ripen in autumn time, March, April. Large fruit, beautiful flavor as well. Low maintenance. No.
What was the tree like? Did you try?
Okay, so you can see it doesn't want to die. So that's a fig tree.
That is popping up again.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't want to die. It pops up again. I might have to cut it and dig it out.
Yeah.
So this was one of my. I just took it out last year, I think. A fig tree. They call it number 35 because they couldn't identify the variety, so they give it numbers. The reason why I took it, it's because this spot here It's my lowest point of the yard, so it sort of holds a lot of water here. And the reason why it's not good for figs, when they ripen, because there's always a lot of moisture in this area, the fig splits. The fig, fruit, it's like a sponge. It likes absorbing a lot of water if you give it the chance. So it just keeps absorbing the water, especially when it rains. See you later, you won't eat fruit for a month. It'll just get too large from the water and split. So there's no point having it here. I'd rather take it off, put a pomegranate. Pomegranate can take the moisture they like.
So when figs have fruit, like small green ones, stop watering.
When they have, look, they do need water. Like you have to leave them on a water sort of regime, like a schedule. I cut water off to them at this time. Okay. When they start expanding, that's when because I don't want to ruin the flavor and I don't want to split them.
You want the flavor to concentrate.
Exactly, the sugars. You'll see now when you taste it. Even though look, it's been raining in Sydney. You know, the last couple of, on and off. Yeah. So technically, the figs shouldn't taste the best at this time. They need dry weather to concentrate the flavors, the sugars. Yep. If you give them water, then it's like cordial. You know, it's like it tastes watered down. Yep. So that's the reason why I don't water this time. But I do water when they're green. I do. I water like depends. You know, if it's rain, I won't water. Otherwise, I've got irrigation running through all this area, and I've got fertigation through the irrigation.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, so
saves a lot of time and effort.
Exactly. So I've got the irrigation system, and I've got a fertigation bottle.
We'll visit at the end of the video. Yep.
Yeah, it's at the front actually. So it feeds both the front and the back, all connected to one system. Okay. I bought it from I think Easy Flow online. You can get them. You put we'll go through it later. Yep. That's the same variety. These two.
Another pomegranate? Okay.
Yeah, pomegranate, same, it's the Middle Eastern green type, the same one.
Shall we go from there or?
Yeah, Just munch on these by the time we get to others. Okay, let's walk around.
All right, what do we have? Oh.
Okay, so that's another mandarin. That's a clementine type, nice mandarin. Loquat, you know what a loquat is. It's a tropical sort of fruit, has a tropical flavor. If you had to describe the flavor, I would say maybe pineapple to peach to sort of, almost mango. It's got like a tropical flavor is the best way to describe it.
Super easy to eat.
Super easy, you just throw it, it's practically, I think, considered a weed in Australia.
It is a weed,
yeah. It's considered a weed because it drops the seeds. You'll see here, watch in a couple of months, they'll start popping up everywhere. They're so easy to propagate and it's considered a weed. So, but it's a beautiful, this particular variety is grafted. It's a Brussels brown. It's a large,
yep.
Yeah, you know the variety, it's a large.
Brassicave and Brussels brown.
Brussels brown, exactly. So that's the type here. Okay, so this here is the Celeste.
The best fig in the house?
If you had to grow one fig in Sydney or any humid, subtropical, warm temperate, rainy summers, you had to pick one fig, this is the fig, hands down. You can see, walk around to all the other figs, they're doing good, they're doing good, not as good as this, but you almost struggle to find a bad leaf in here. Super green, I've never had a leaf drop, thrives in this condition. This was actually bred in America for the southern states of America, for the tropics basically, or the humid areas of America. They named it Celeste. Very sugary, tastes like brown sugar, like caramel almost. For me anyway, they're large fruit. They look beautiful on the tree. Yes, if you want to plant one tree in Sydney or subtropics conditions, that's the one, hands down. You'll throw it, it'll thrive, you'll give you beautiful fruits.
I just want to show you, do you have, again, did the pruning in a way?
Yes.
That middle part is open?
Open center, yes.
Open center.
Open center.
In the middle, and it's full open.
You need, again, they don't like humidity. Humidity is their enemy. Rain during the growing season is their enemy. Water from the top is their enemy. They do not like it at all. So you have to counter attack that by pruning it in a way where the air circulates, the sun and the light gets in the middle. Just to minimize or prevent those issues, fungal diseases and so on. Okay, let's get to the crunch. You can see the fruits here. Okay, I'll just show you when I take off. If you want to have a look at these. So this is how they hang when it's ripe. This is a perfectly ripened fig. it forms cracks
Yep.
on the surface, which indicates it's actually that sugars are concentrating, and it's drawn from the outside. It's becoming soft. So cracks on figs is good. Cracks on anything else is no good. On apples is no good. You know, like bananas or mangoes, you don't want cracks. But on figs, you want cracks.
Okay.
And it means it's ideal condition. It's ripened perfectly. It looks beautiful. You know, every time I see subhanAllah, it's just it's a beautiful looking fruit.
Yep.
The colors, the everything about it.
I'll just open it a bit just to show in the camera.
Yep.
The flesh inside.
Yeah.
You can take the half.
So this has an amber color. It's a honey colored fig, and the flavors sort of represent that a little more, sort of a sugary caramel flavor. You'll see when you eat it.
Oh man, it's fig jam. It's like so chewy and it's like high on sugar. Oh
It's
my
high,
god.
extremely high in sugar.
Oh my god.
That's why this fig is
so good.
described. They describe it as a sugar fig.
Yeah.
That's the category they give it. So figs, they give it 3 categories. There's the sugar category, there's the honey category, and there's the berry category. My favorite is the berry, that category of flavors. This is the sugar one. I made literally, you know, when you brown, when you caramel sugar in a pan to make caramel, this is what it tastes like, but more complex. Amazing, yeah, it's a different level. It's a different level, yeah. That's why I recommend this fig in a humid climate. You must have a fig like this. Every guy in Sydney or up in the tropics, Queensland, any of those areas, you know, where they don't get Mediterranean. We don't have a Mediterranean. The only Mediterranean climate in Australia is South Australia. Some parts of Victoria that's close to South Australia, and some parts of Western Australia that's close to South Australia. That southern region of Australia is a Mediterranean climate.
That's where they do a bit of like all this commercial fig farming as well. And
fig farming,
and
you know, grapes, you know, olives. All that Mediterranean, a lot of it is from there. And they have the fig wasp there as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
You've heard about the fig wasp?
But these ones are
They're common. You don't need the pollination for these ones. But if they're pollinated, the flavor, see how good this is? If it was pollinated, it'll even double in terms of quality. It just gets better. That fig, subhanAllah, does something
This is the best
special.
fig in my life.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's good. It's good. If that's the, we should taste others. Look, at the moment, I've only got this white Adriatic and VDB ripening. Me personally, white Adriatic is better than this.
I'll taste a white Adriatic because I've heard
VDB
so
is
much
number
about
3.
it.
Yeah. So it depends. If you have a sweet tooth, this is your boy here.
This is too much. This is like getting me high on sugar.
It's
want to sleep now.
caramel. It's caramel. You know, like a salted caramel flavor.
I want to sleep now.
It's you can see in there. And very productive fig, highly productive fig. They hang off the tree. I'll give you some. You can give to the family later on.
I love the texture, like, you know,
beautiful texture.
The one that,
it's got like
the cracks and everything.
Yeah, the cracks. It's
It looks
beautiful.
so good on the fruits.
Okay, so
This is VDB.
that's a VDB.
Yeah. And they don't grow big.
They're smallish. They're smallish figs. You know, this part of my garden is a bit high. It's arid, so the figs naturally don't get as large because they haven't got a lot of access to water. I think you do have one of those anyway in your.
I do, but birds are taking more of it.
Okay, you got to net them. Yeah, the birds love them, just like we love them. The birds love them. It's very intense flavor. This one.
Oh,
Dark
this
red.
is the berryish flavor.
That's the berryish.
This is more on the berryish flavor.
It's the base of the berries.
Strawberry, raspberry, and all those.
It's the base of the berries. There's better. The green Adriatic is even better in berries.
This is a different level.
Yeah, different. See, it's more complex than this one. This is straight sweetness. This has like strawberries with raspberries, with blackberries, with fig. It's mixed. Yeah, it's a
This is mixed berry jam.
mixed berry jam. Yes.
This is mixed berry jam.
Yes. Still, to me, the white Adriatic is better. Bourgeois is one of the best ones I have. You know, that large one at the front.
Sorry, one thing I want to just mention, because you touched upon this, is, you know, we have like 500 square meter, 1000 square meter space. It's very important to know what is, you know, if there is a slope in your garden, what place is up, what place is down,
Exactly.
where the water settles.
Yes,
so you
very
know all
important.
these things. And you were telling me about that fig tree that you removed because the water
It's
stays
no
there.
good down there. Yeah.
You're telling me like this tree
See the difference here?
is slope. So
the
this
fruit
is
don't
very
get
important.
exactly. The fruit don't get very large, but see the flavor is very
Intensity,
intense,
yeah.
very intense. Because if I planted it down there, it'll get very large. It might split, but it'll taste watery.
So people should know, even if they have like a small yard. Like
You have to
500
know the
square
areas
meter,
in your yard.
Yeah, like which
Yes.
area is getting how much sunlight.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is close to the fans. It is getting, if it rains, like where does the water flow?
Exactly.
This
So
is
you
so
have to know
important.
your wettest areas, your driest areas. Even some areas might be more sandy or more clay
Yep.
than others. You have to know your areas, and you have to strategically plant the right fruit in that area. For example, like figs like to be in a drier area. You leave them in dry areas. Citrus love moisture. You
Yep.
can have them down there with tropicals as well. You know, like I think lychee. I want to plant lychee down there somewhere.
Yep, yep.
It's very deep to soil there because there's a retaining. That fence is like a retaining wall.
Okay,
So
so
there's almost a meter to my next door neighbor. So it's very deep soil down there. Compared to here, it's clay and it gets deeper, the sort of loamy soil. So the that's why my persimmon done well there. We'll get to that one.
Yeah, let's not talk about persimmons. I'm a persimmon killer.
I know a lot of people have. I killed it maybe about 4 or 5 before I had success with this one. We'll get to that.
I
We'll get
need to have a full section on that.
Yeah.
Okay, before we go there, like, okay, one more pomegranates.
Okay, so that's
that
wonderful.
is Pafianca?
No,
Gulosha Savia?
that's Ben Hur.
Ben Hur, okay, the Australian bred, like big
Okay,
variety.
let's do that when we go down then here. You know what, let's do this. There's not much here. Let's do these ones. So this is my
Oh my God.
pomelo. That's
God.
a baby tree, but massive fruits.
That is a baby tree.
That's a baby tree. Look at it. It's only
at the size of this thing.
maybe 4 years old or something.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And look at the productivity of it. You know, the reason why it's more productive, the other one had a bumper. They tend to be biannual. The pomelos, meaning that they give a bumper crop every second year. Last year the big one had a bumper crop. It's taken a
This
rest.
is a tiny tree. How can
Yeah.
it produce like these massive fruits? What's going on here?
It's a lot of mulch, feed regularly, and water regularly. Look, I haven't got irrigation in this. It's in an island, so I hand water it, and I keep the mulch very, very thick.
So this is the.
Okay, that's another thing. I'm experimenting with. See that black powder? It looks like gunpowder.
That's charcoal.
They call it black grit.
Black
It's
grit.
Vasili's product. You know Vasili?
Yeah, I know Vasily.
That's his product.
Okay.
That's
what is it made of, like black grit? Is
Okay,
it
so it's
charcoal?
made of charcoal, ground charcoal, natural limestone, which is good for you need calcium minerals, which there's a lot of calcium in limestone. So crushed limestone, charcoal, silica,
Yep.
which is a very important sort of aspect to a lot of fruits, especially fruits that tend to split, because silica is flexible, so it prevents fruits from, it makes it like rubbery and flexible. Just micronutrients that, look, I can't vouch for it yet. This is the first time I applied it.
I've seen Doug up in Brisbane. He was also using charcoal.
Yeah, no,
So-
look, it's a very good product to use, Chuck. So I'm experimenting with it. But look, it's working for this tree.
Yeah, but I just want to show, like, we are at the ground level, and look at the amount of mulch and all this stuff
Yeah,
Ahmed has put in here.
yeah,
So
you can
this
see
is important.
Yeah, it's very moist in there. You see all the theatre roots.
Yep.
They're very shallow rooted.
Citrus are very shallow, and
Very
they
shallow
need
rooted,
constant
yes.
feeding.
That's why you need to cover them, because otherwise they'll burn if you don't mulch them heavily.
All right, what do we have?
Okay, so we'll start here. Then we'll go down to the main event down there. So this here, it's just a garden bed I plant. I've just cleaned it up, and I've used the weeds and amaranth and things like that grow wild here as mulch. I've dropped them there. I've dropped them around the 2 baby citrus. This citrus I planted maybe a month ago. That's a Valencia seedless, because I want to juice an orange. I've got like mandarins.
What is your target number of citrus?
Okay, target or what I have at the moment?
Target. But I have lost count, so I'm asking what is your target?
I think I've got more figs though.
Okay, more
I've got
figs.
figs. I've got about 7. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
2 in the front, 1 in the front.
1 in the front, close to 10. I've got about 10, and I've got maybe 11, 12 fig trees. So they're my sort of strongest, and even pomegranates. I've got about maybe close to 10, because we juice them. We make pomegranate molasses.
Yes. Very common
We're very big on molasses in our cuisine. We make molasses and we use it a lot in our cooking. And plus it's beautiful to eat.
Yeah,
So there's a few reasons why we keep juicing as well. Amazing. I've got some juice for you later on, and this weather is nice. So you can't come into an Arab household without being pampered. I don't know if this is our thing, you know, like it's that's what we do. We are, it's you know, the hospitality is our thing. So
Right,
this is Valencia seedless, baby
Valencia
one.
seedless, okay.
Because for juicing.
This is the grapefruit.
This one?
Yeah.
Sorry. So that's a Valencia seedless. That's a red grapefruit. Yes.
Okay, because I see the.
Yes, sorry, yes.
Yeah.
That's the Valencia seedless down there. This is the red grapefruit. This is a request from the wife. She loves grapefruit. She loves the red grapefruit. She always buys them from the supermarket. She said, please, can you plant me one so I can stop buying them?
Okay.
So I planted that grapefruit. Grapefruit is the cousin of pomelos.
Yeah, yeah.
The smaller, very nice.
Very good for your digestion.
Excellent, excellent. This is a bit sweeter, the red ones, than the other ones.
Mulberry.
Pakistani mulberry.
Or Pakistani mulberry, that's mine.
The Pakistani. So I've got the washer tooth here. And this particular tree is almost 10 years old, and I've trained it. It's an Aspalia tree.
Yes.
Because that's another good idea. If you don't have space, if you don't have a lot of land in your backyard, you plant them along the fence line and you train them in an Aspalia. So if you don't know what Aspalia, you can sort of reach it and Google it.
Yep.
But basically, Aspalia means you shape it in a 2D form. You don't allow things to grow forward or backward. You just grow them in this angle, and it's sort of you space them out maybe half a meter or so. Depends how you can see. I've got maybe 2-3 branches this way, 2-3 branches that way, and they work very well for a vigorous tree like mulberry, super vigorous. So every year in winter, I'll prune everything you see back down to the skeleton. So all you see is a skeleton like this. You leave a few nodes, and they're highly productive.
You can't kill it. You know, go.
You cannot kill it. Again, that's considered a weed in Australia or anywhere. It's a weed. It is the fastest growing, most vigorous tree that I know of. I haven't seen anything. You know, that's 1 year old. That Pakistani is 1 year old.
That's the black one. Black one.
So yeah, so it's different. So you have the washer tooth and you have the richer tooth. That's not a richer tooth.
That's a black one.
That's a so there's washer tooth, richer tooth, and there's Pakistani mulberry, which is basically long as the white and the red.
Yes, and black.
But thicker.
Yep.
So each one is as thick as my thumb.
And it's expensive.
Expensive, yeah. But have no fear, it won't die. So you know, sometimes you get like persimmons and.
That's a grafted one.
That's grafted, yes, yes. So I planted it last year. This time I had a few fruits this year from it. Very long, almost 4 inches each fruit, as thick as my thumb, very thick, sweet, just like the watcher tooth. So it doesn't have a lot of tangy flavor, which
Watcher tooth is like sugar.
Sugar, yeah, this is very similar. Yeah, not as sweet, but very similar. They're very low on acidity, which is a shame in my opinion. I like a bit of acidity in it. It's straight sweetness, but it's still impressive.
Yep.
So this one, the plan is to train it. So I've done the other one as Aspalia. This one here, I want to cut all the other branches, bend this one like this, put a stake in there, tie this to the stake. You're just going to have a main leader there, and then branches coming down, and then you pick the fruits as you're walking under it, like an arch, like this. So get rid of everything and leave that, and then as you walk in, this will dangle down and you pick the fruit. And it'll look awesome. So that's, you know, I'll start playing, and eventually you get bored, you know. Mint, we use a lot of mint in our cuisine. Very vigorous. You know, I've isolated it there. Otherwise, it'll take over the whole garden.
Yes.
So, but because we use it a lot in our cuisine, we need to have mint. This is a seedless Eureka.
Okay.
Again, this is a daily.
From Delhi's.
No, sorry. No, I meant this is a daily use in our cuisine.
Daily use.
We use it daily, like lemons. Almost a daily we use it. So we have to have a lemon tree in our garden.
Do you ever run out of lemons?
This is a young tree. It's only 2 years old. The Eureka lemons are super vigorous, very, very vigorous.
That's why I'm saying, like, you will never run out of lemons.
Once this establishes, even more, probably not. No, because this is a yearly. This lemon tree, it will basically ripen fruit at the same time as it's flowering, at the same time as it's setting. So every month you'll have fruit to pick. So once you have an established lemon tree, yeah, you won't buy any lemons basically. So you can see, mashallah, it's highly productive.
It is.
It's just dripping with fruit. It's a very productive and very vigorous. Only a couple of 2 years old, I think I planted it. Very vigorous. Yeah, you've seen the watcher tooth, Aspalia.
Yep.
Highly productive. You know this, but to the audience that doesn't know what a watcher tooth is, it bears fruits in clusters.
Yes.
not single sort of berries in clusters. So just like my fingers are dangling like this, you have 4, 5, 6 fruits in one cluster. Each one is as big as my finger, almost 4 inches long. Super sweet like sugar. Highly productive. If you like sweet things, this is for you. You can't kill it.
Yep.
So that's the white chatut.
All right.
I've got some mangoes there, but we'll come to that because we're gonna have to sit there for a little bit. So this is
Pomegranate, Ben Hur? Oh no.
no. So that's the Ben Hur. Ben Hur seems to be very productive. That's the Ben Hur. You can see it's highly productive. So this is different. This is another, that's another green Middle Eastern.
Okay. All right.
Different than the other green Middle Eastern. So this I think it's Iranian, Persian. This one, Persian. The other one is more Lebanese, Syrian. The other one. Green, again, very thick skin. They're ancient because they originated from that region too. Pomegranates, figs, even olives, they're all from the Levant.
Yep.
From the Levant, the Middle East, but Syria, Lebanon, parts of Turkey, Iraq, Iran, so those areas. That's where they originate from. So this hasn't been altered much by humans. You can see it's still very thick skinned, not super productive like the new varieties because they breed for productivity. But you lose on insect sort of susceptibility and things like that. But very large, very nice. This is the Ben Hur, super productive. You can see they call it Ben Hur because each fruit is supposed to get up to 1.5 kilos.
Yeah.
So I haven't had that yet because it's only a young tree, but very productive, very nice tasting. After the wonderful, I would say Ben Hur is probably for me the most productive. You can see fruits everywhere, large fruit, good sort of acidity to sweetness flavor, can't go wrong with it. Just an aesthetic thing here. The wonderful.
Okay.
You can see it's the most productive for me. Even though there's a few branches that I'm gonna chop out this year. Again, they're sick, that branch. So you get that with pomegranate. You just cut it and it just sends another 2-3 branches.
Yep.
Very productive. We've seen VDB.
Is this a different fig? This one?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yes. Okay. So this is a highly collectible fig. They call it the Calderona. The tags there. It's a Calderona Noir, another French variety. Okay. I don't know where they got it from, but
very difficult to pronounce names. I better take the tag.
So Cal, de means there, in France. Yeah, Calderona Noir. So that's what it's a French variety. So the Calderona figs, there's a class of them. So they got noir in French. French means black.
Okay.
So you got the Calderona Noir, which is black. Calderona Blanc, which is white. Blanc means white in France. And there's the Calderona Gris, which means grey. So there's black, green, grey. I've got the black one. In terms of flavor, they're all very similar, but just the aesthetics are different. One's black, one's grey, one's green. One of the most intense berry flavored fig you can get.
Okay.
So just you see how berry that is. This will put it to shame when it comes to the berry flavors.
But at the same time, again, I look up the productivity. Look at the amount of figs on this one.
Yeah.
Like,
VDB,
this is crazy.
Yeah. Number 2 after Celeste. If you are sort of a novice or beginner in figs, I would go Celeste, then VDB, hands down. Never splits. Super consistently productive every single year. Taste amazing. Not much problems compared to other figs, so it's excellent for our climate as well. So Celeste, VDB, and beautiful tasting fig as well. So that's the Calderona. That's another fig here. This is struggling a bit, but it needs a bit of time.
Basilica Sicca.
Yes, Basilica Sicca, Greek.
Okay.
So this is a Greek fig, which means just a green fig, in as far as I can tell. So it stays green with an intense red inside. Berry flavored, but it hasn't really, because this is an arid and dry part of my garden, so it needs time to take off. This here, so there's 2 figs here. I planted them in one hole. So
I can see the
you can see the trunk down there.
Yep.
So one this way, one that way. This one here, it just started ripening now, like they started to expand, so I've covered them. Not ready to eat, they need maybe another 3-4 days. So this is the Socorro Black.
Socorro Black, okay.
Socorro Black from Socorro, America.
Okay.
That's where it was discovered, in Socorro, so they called it after that region, that area. Extremely collectible fig. Well, figs, as far as I know, are the most collected figs on earth. They are.
I have joined the.
There's freaks. There's
I
freaks
made
out
the
there.
mistake of joining Fix Down Under, and I see all the people like
Yeah.
making me jealous.
No, they're just it's just a thing. It's literally like a phenomena out there. Like
Yeah.
people are just into wherever you go. You can go to Antarctica, you'll see someone collecting figs in a pot and under a fire or something. You know, it's so yeah. This is the black Socorro. It turns when it's it's green now, but when it ripens, it turns half black, half green. It's up there with the best, maybe in terms of flavors, in the top 5. Extremely berry and intense red interior flavored fig. You can see the birds have picked half of it here, but it's no good to eat. But I'll show you how intense red it is.
Yeah.
On the inside.
Strawberry red,
Look at the color.
and it's not even fully ripe yet.
No.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is an intense berry. So. You think this is good? This is just makes it look like a kindergarten kid. That's how good this is in terms of berry flavors. It's super red, but the bird got this one.
What about the left one?
The left one is also a collectible. They call it Calderona fig, Spanish.
Calderon.
Calderone, you know, in the native tongue, you know, Calderona fig, Spanish. So basically, it's Pon's favorite fig. So Pon is this. You can see here they're the larger ones. So it's a black fig. Once it ripens, it turns black. Very productive fig. You know, for a collectible. Usually collectibles are hard to grow. They're not very productive. This is one of the more productive collectible figs, rare figs. The Calderona. It's Pon's favorite fig. So Pons is a man that was basically obsessed with figs. He loved Spanish from Spain, and he wrote a book. One of the few books, or a few sort of detailed books anyone has written about figs, was written by him, about all the different varieties, their characteristics, their flavors, their growing regions, what they like, and that was his favorite fig. Maybe because it's Spanish and it's like, I'm not sure, but it's arguably one of the best tasting figs, if not the best. So the best one apparently is a Black Madeira, which I've got one, but there's a problem with it. It's very slow growing. But this, I would say, in terms of productivity and flavor and everything, this will probably win.
All right.
The Calderona.
Moving on.
So you have here, this is all amaranth. You probably know what amaranth is.
Yeah, it is a grain type thing, and it is almost.
It grows like it's actually a weed, but we eat it. It's beautiful. You know, it's a superfood.
Yeah, it is.
It's actually a superfood, like Egyptian spinach and those other superfoods. It grows wild. It's very deep rooted. So if you pull one out, it's hard to pull. The root, it will send roots almost half a meter deep in the soil.
And once
I'll use it for mulch.
Yeah, once it seeds, it will never leave your garden.
I don't mind it because, you know, at this stage, you pull them out when they get even bigger and you use it as mulch.
Yep.
And they have a lot of nutrition because they pull a lot of nutrition and things from the earth down deep. And once you use them as mulch, I believe it puts it back in the compost, and it's very good.
All right.
Okay, so this is my oldest fig tree that I planted, and the biggest fig tree. So if you come here, I've done it in an open way. I can walk right in the center. You can see the trunk. If you have a look at the trunk, it's got like a 9-inch trunk.
Yep.
It's about 9-10 years old. 9-10 years old. You can see I'll print anything in the center to make it open, and for accessibility as well, and plus for air rotation and sun exposure and all the rest of it.
So what variety is this? The white
This
Adriatic?
is the white Adriatic, which I got from Dailies. It's
How old is this tree?
9-10 years old. When I bought this property, roughly 9-10 years old. One of my favorites, for me, it's top 3. I've got like 12 varieties. This is in the top 3.
Okay.
Definitely the best grain variety I have. This is asking you please eat me.
Oh my God! Look at it. It is so soft.
It's a grenade of jelly basically inside of it. It's a grenade of jelly. Here, let me do the honors for you if you have one hand.
Look at this. Look at this. Is the strawberry flesh. Look at this.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this thing is, mashallah, absolutely indescribable. You cannot describe the flavors.
Strawberry flesh.
Yeah, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. To me,
the other one, you can eat the other one because I will drop it. Yep. Look at this thing. Look at this. You can eat that one. Look at the strawberry flesh. Wow.
Gets me every time, this one. I'll let you do the talking.
All right. I know what you're talking about. This is.
You can't explain this though. You must taste it to experience the flavor.
This is right in the middle. This is not extremely sweet,
Yes.
and it is very berryish,
Very complex in
very
flavor.
complex flavors,
Yes. Very juicy at the same
very
time.
juicy at the same time,
But
very jammy as
very
well.
jammy at the same.
I don't know, like,
it's
what's
so
going on?
complex. This one. So
What's going-
complex.
I don't know.
Yes. So it's got the intense berry. It's got enough sugars. The jammy flavors.
You know, the
you pick up the hints of they call it figgish flavor.
the top part of this fig is jam.
The eye, yes,
my
yes,
God.
it's full of jam. You have to have a white Adriatic. Inshallah, I'll give you one. And when it comes winter, you have to, and it does really good in Sydney. I mean, look at the tree. It's got some issues here and there, but you still get, and it's highly productive. Look at that. Look at that. It's
like,
highly productive, super productive. You know,
look at the amount of figs here.
super
Wow.
productive. Yeah, yeah. You must have seconds. You know, it's yeah. You just bought this one. Oh,
You want me to leave this property or not?
I told you come hungry. I warned you. You know, there's a lot of figs. Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Yes, I know. You know, I'm not exaggerating. When I take a video,
is like,
and people
my
think,
God.
oh, you're just making it up. No, I'm not making it up.
Oh my God, this is jam.
It's crazy.
Oh,
And believe it or not, there's better figs. But in terms of productivity, and this is an early variety, early to mid.
Oh,
This is early to mid. Yes. Yeah, it's amazing.
I can't.
I mean, and if I've got a video, I can just to show your face. It's priceless.
Oh, my
It's
God.
crazy. Yeah. So imagine walking every day in your backyard, and every time you walk past it, you pop a few of these.
Yep.
You know, you don't need to snack on anything else. Why would you get junk food or chocolates or anything? You know, snack on this. And you know, I don't know if you tried it. You get a piece of toast bread, butter it, grab one of these, and just smudge it.
Yep.
But who needs jam? This is God's recipe.
This is jam.
This is the best jam anyone can create.
That's
No one
the
can create
jam.
this jam.
Oh my God,
It's
this is-
literally jam. From a tree on a. It's amazing. Do I need to explain myself when it comes to this fig?
This is.
It's highly
is super
productive.
fig.
Look at it. You know, we've been eating it for a month now at least. Often you've seen on the videos, and it's still loaded. It's still like you can barely see the leaves almost.
Amount of leaves.
It's super productive.
The figs.
Super
Oh.
productive, you know. You can see here, so all the ones that I've bagged, when they start expanding, that's the time I bag it.
Otherwise, birds will take it.
Birds will take it. The fruit fly also like it, so they do hit it sometimes.
Okay.
They do hit it sometimes, so you protect it from the birds, fruit flies, and the bird, mainly the bird. The birds love figs. They absolutely love figs, you know. And you only protect them, cover them when they start expanding. Nothing touches them when they're raw.
Yep.
Because they have a white sap.
Yep.
You know, the white sap
Yeah.
it dissolves any insect. It's got like a substance which dissolves any material, insects and things like that. It's even irritating to the skin. So nothing bothers it. When it expands, they know it's time to attack it, and that's when you have to cover it.
We won't stop talking about.
No,
Adriatic,
no.
so
I can talk for hours just on this fig. It's
This is
it's another
definitely
level.
great fig. I think Celeste is just too sweet.
Yeah, you see my point now.
Yeah, but this is like, and that is like intense berry flavor.
Intense-
That's like a
Intense
once
berry,
in a while
more
kind of thing.
berry candy almost.
Yeah.
Like a dehydrated
The VDB,
fig.
yeah.
The VDB. It's like a dehydrated fig flavor.
Yep.
This takes
This
it to
is
another
right
level.
in the middle. Like this is
In
like
the middle,
giving you
but
best
hits
of
the
everything.
spot. But hits the spot. It's the juicy,
Yeah.
the jammy, the berry, the sweetness, everything about it. Even it's got like a seed crunch. See that seed crunch in there? So there's a bit of texture in there. Yeah, this fig, like to me, so far, in terms of productivity as a whole, number one. I would have given it to the Bourgeois Noir. It's better than this in flavor, Bourgeois Noir, but it's for me it's late. The Bourgeois Noir. This comes in early, stays all the way till winter.
Yeah.
So you're eating all season long. So that's why for me this would be number one.
Too much.
Panache. So I've got some corn, and no one cares about that.
This is tiger panache. What do you call it?
The panache
Panache.
fig. So the panache fig, it's more aesthetics. So it looks beautiful. So it's a variegated fig.
Yep.
It's a variegated fig. It looks like a watermelon. So it's got like green and yellow stripes, like a watermelon, and it has similar taste to a white Adriatic. But so far for me, Adriatic is better than it.
Yeah.
It's close, but for me so far, maybe because it's still a young tree and needs time, not sure. But Adriatic's still better. But beautiful, collectible fig. If anything, just for the looks, looks amazing. So this is the famous Black Madeira.
Yep.
So this is basically the holy grail, the cream of the crop when it comes to flavor. This is like the Pafianca of figs.
Okay.
When it comes to straight taste comparisons, many collectors say this is the best tasting fig, the most intense.
And you have the
flavor.
figs. You have the figs on it.
No, yes, so they produce it, but you know this, it's about 6 years old.
What?
Yes, this thing here, I planted the same as this fig, and look at the difference. Look at the Celeste, and look at this. It's renowned for being super slow growth. Some say it's got a virus, so when they start spreading the the propagating wherever it started from the mother tree. Some say that mother tree had a virus to begin with, which stunted the growth. So all the cuttings that were spread out from that tree have been stunted, and they take forever. And the only way, one of the few ways to make it productive is they cut it and they graft it on a aggressive tree, like the Celeste or something, which I'm going to do this winter.
Okay.
So I've given it a chance. I gave it 6-7 years, didn't go nowhere. Wasted 6-7 years.
So you graft figs in winter. That's the season.
Well, not towards the end of just before they start break dormancy. You know, they sleep in winter. So the end of winter, start of spring, when they start budding out.
September.
Yes. In Sydney, yes, in Australia, in Sydney.
All right, let's move on to
so that's done. There's another baby fig there, which I got from my collector friend, which I just planted. It's called the I-258, one of the top tasting fig. I just planted it. I can't really taste it or anything yet, but it's supposed to be probably top 5 as well. That's pretty much the end of my fig collection.
Okay.
Okay, let's go to the main event. Okay, so this here, I think that's a lot of people are waiting.
All right. How did you do it? Share your secrets.
I said Bismillah and I planted it.
Okay. What's going on here?
That's what, one of the best sort of advice I can give.
This is the most loaded persimmon, aka Fiji fruit tree I've seen
in Sydney.
It looks absolutely beautiful.
It
is almost like the branches are touching the ground.
From the weight of the fruit.
Weight of the fruit.
From the weight of the fruit. It's a Fuyu variety.
Okay.
Japanese Fuyu, a variety of figs. You know, everyone likes, and everyone wants a persimmon in the backyard. It's a non-astringent variety of persimmons, meaning you can eat it like an apple, compared to the astringent where you have to eat them super soft.
Yep.
And just like everyone else, I had issues with growing persimmons here in Sydney. I killed maybe 3-4 of them at least. I had a friend of mine, a cousin of mine, that killed a few as well. I believe there's a few reasons why this succeeded in the end for me. Number one is the position.
Okay.
I used to plant it in the higher parts of my garden, where basically the water doesn't hold for very long in there, very dry, on a bit of a slope. You know, it's not very moist. So I've moved it to the lowest section of my garden where it's got deep, moist soil, which this thing loves. From what I've researched, they grow near sort of rivers, riverlands and things like that, where basically the natural soil is moist full time. So they love moisture. They don't like to be left without water for very long, from what I researched. So that's part of the reason why this succeeded. Number two, protection from the sun. I had them first in an open, because you know I thought it was full sun. I had them in an open area where they had literally sun all day, like 10-12 hours of sun all day, and it just burnt it. It's like you had a torch and you burnt it. It just did not like it. Couldn't cope with the Australia. Maybe full sun in other parts of the world where you know the sun is not so intense. In Australia, the sun is very intense. It's very intense, like, you know, our 30 degrees is probably equivalent to 40 degrees somewhere else. Yep. It's very intense. Don't know exactly why. Something to do with the ozone layer, I think. But it doesn't like the Australian sun for too long. So another reason why it thrived here, before, a couple of years ago, when I first planted this, I used to have a pomegranate tree here. It died now, so I cut it off. It was a large tree, like maybe larger than this. And I planted it in the shade of that tree. So I used to get morning sun, up until just midday max, 12 o'clock or so. And then it was shaded because the sun sits that way. Then it was shaded by the pomegranates. So I had nice cool conditions in the afternoon, which I believe this is what this tree requires. Does it like intense sun all day? It likes morning sun, then afternoon shade, moist soil, deep moist soil all the time. Too, and thirdly, I don't know how true that reason is. I got it from a different supplier, this one. So without naming names, shaming them, you know, I used to get them for a certain supplier, and they used to send me sort of, you probably know, $70, $80, and the trunk is probably this thick, and it's got sort of whitish sort of paint on it or something. Maybe that's how they graft it. I believe it was a weak graft to begin with, that particular variety, that particular supplier. So this one I got it from my local nursery, Tim's Nursery. So he has he tends to get more rare things than like compared to.
Does he graft himself or?
No. So he gets from suppliers, but the suppliers I think that he sources out are not your typical suppliers that others get from. I think he gets it from sort of small businesses and things like that. So there's more love into it, I think. So I got this one from him, and just when I looked at it, I go, yes, this looks healthy. It didn't look tired and thin. Even with the other supplier, you'll see there's only maybe one shoot on the top, small leaves, and it looks like it's already halfway dead. And when you plant it a couple of years, then it just goes backwards. This one had beautiful big leaves, multiple branches for the same price, thick, double or triple the stem, the rootstock. So I believe that's part of it as well.
Do you want to share the name of the nursery? Just
it's
shout out.
Tim's Nursery.
Okay, Tim's
from
Nursery
Campbelltown.
in Campbelltown. Okay.
Tim's Nursery, Campbelltown. I'm not going to pay for this, but look, I have to say the truth. I got it from him, this particular one, compared to the others 4 or 5 I got online from other nurseries. Did not make it. So I think that's part of it. The supplier, the actual rootstock to begin with was healthier. Then afternoon shade
and afternoon sun and
afternoon shade and moist soil.
Yeah.
Those three, I believe, was the success. The reason why this succeeded. And you can see.
How old is this tree now?
This tree again, maybe 6 years old. About 6 years old. Five.
Do you prune it?
COVID time, about 5, 6 years old.
And do you prune it?
In winter, once it's finished fruiting in late autumn. What I want to do now, see how this is getting out of reach. I'm gonna chop it, about this high, get rid of it, and just leave the others. And prune it any way you would prune most fruit trees. Any crossing branches, diseased branches, and don't open it too much. Not the persimmon, because if it gets exposed to the sun again, it's gonna burn those branches.
Same as avocados,
Do not, yeah. So don't over prune them unless you have it in a sort of an understory sort of situation. But if you have it in an open sun, Australian sun, and you expose too many branches, it's see you later. Yeah. So don't over prune it. The only reason why I'm pruning the top is it's getting out of height.
Yeah, you need to net it and everything, protect it from fruit
exactly.
flies.
So yeah, it's a bit more practical to net and everything. I've got one more pomegranate here. If you want to just sneak in. So this is Azerbaijan. Azerbaijani. That's the national fruit, if you didn't know that.
Okay.
Pomegranate is Azerbaijan's national fruit. They're big on pomegranates there. One of, to me, probably after Pafianca, this is the best tasting. After Pafianca. Productivity, highly productive. This one, a couple of years ago, we got monsoon rains in Sydney. For a couple of years, summer non-stop, all summer was rain, and it affected it. You can see the trunk is it's got sort of a root rot, and it affected it. So basically, I'm letting it fruit, and you can see there's new branches coming up. So after first, I'm going to chop it back to the ground and let the new babies take over. So I'm going to enjoy the fruit for this year. So this is the Azerbaijani fruit. And last but not least,
olive trees.
We have the olive trees.
First time I'm seeing olive trees in someone's fruit forest.
Look, I don't know how about your household, but olives don't run out of my house. There's always olive jars, pickled olive jars in our house all the time. It always makes an appearance for every breakfast, dinners and things. We eat a lot of olives because we come from that region. Olive oil is massive in our culture.
So tell me something. Are these all grafted, both of them?
This is grafted. This is not.
Okay, and
they're fast growing.
And so I see these olives. When are they ready? When do you want to?
Okay, so basically when the olive starts turning, because all olives once left on the tree to ripen, they turn black. That means they're ripening. You don't want to let them go black. They become too soft and they don't last very long once you pickle them. Unless you want to do them like in another pickling technique where you have to eat them very quick. But if you want it to last like very long time, years, you pick them just when they start to turn which is the end of summer, start of autumn. End of summer, start of autumn, which is
March, April?
February, February, March, around March, say March, yeah. These berries will start turning black. When you see that sign, a couple of them start turning black, that's when you just put your hand there and they drop on the floor, you collect them. There's a pickling process. We'll show that inshallah on the video as well once we do it. But you can see, mashallah, they're highly productive. They look magnificent, you know.
Yeah, they are looking very beautiful.
To me, it feels like I'm back in the old country, you know, like because you go to this region, everywhere you look, it's just olive trees. The Mediterranean, that's figs, olives, grapes.
Pomegranates.
Pomegranates, that's their natural habitat. So to us, that's why you see a lot of citrus, even citrus is big there. Citrus, olives, figs, it gives that vibe. You can see that's the theme we're going for. Tropicals, I've just recently started tropicals, which I'm sort of getting addicted to now. But yeah, this is an Italian variety. They call it Frantoio. It's a small berry, small fruits. They have a nutty flavor. Very good for pickling. You can use it for table olives or olive oil. Highly productive variety. Vigorous, you can see it's loaded. This is about maybe 4 years old, this tree. This tree here is about maybe 2-3 years old. This is a Greek, so we have Italian. This is Greek, Kalamata. You probably heard of Kalamata.
Yeah, Kalamata is like
it's one of the most popular
commercial variety.
Yeah, most popular pickled variety, especially in Australia, very popular, Kalamata. You can see the difference in fruits compared to that here. See how they're darker in color and they're elongated, longer, pointy, compared to this is a bit more roundy and smaller. So that's the difference. And the leaves are much larger compared to the Frantoio. Much larger. They're more appealing to look at, in my opinion. But this is more productive so far. This is only a young tree. Compared to that, that's double the age. That's 4 years. This is maybe 2 years or so.
All right, let's look at these mangoes. So what do you have here?
So this, they grew by themselves like the rest of the cherry tomatoes. They grew by themselves. This is the third olive tree. This is a Moroccan variety. It's a round fruit, and it creates like a shade. Weeping, wide, shady sort of tree, which I want so we can sort of sit under it here. The afternoon sun very hard, we can have barbecues and things. So this I planted a week ago, roughly. This is the orange sherbet. Arguably, probably one of the most. I shouldn't have it next to little, but the only reason I've done this, my little one, she started grabbing it and ripping it, so I got scared, so I wrapped it. That's the only thing I could find around. I put it in there and I wrapped it so it stays sturdy.
I haven't tasted the fruits yet, but the leaf,
I haven't tasted it.
Leaf do smell like citrus.
Yeah. Well, Doug reckons he ate the ripe ones about a week ago. He told me, he goes, probably the best he's tasted.
Yes.
And according to mango, because mango is a bit of a thing as well. People collect them, you know, from the States. A lot of people that are into them. They reckon this is up there. You got the orange sherbet, lemon meringue, lemon zest. There's
coconut cream and...
Yeah. But apparently the citrusy ones are more desired, more sought after in terms of flavors. So yeah, this is the orange sherbet. I just planted.
Another mango?
That's the Valencia Pride. I planted that in last winter. You can see it's making new shoots. It's doing okay. And the reason why I've left this, because this will provide shade, because this is very vigorous. This it's a wild cherry tomato. So it's going to crawl all over the trunk. It's going to protect the trunk from the afternoon sun. Otherwise, you'll start burning the trunk and the tree will die. So I planted it in winter, and already you can see this is from there to there. It's about 6 inches of new shoots. Then the new shoots is making new shoots. Same here. You got 4. So it is vigorous. It's supposed to be vigorous, and for me, it is vigorous. It's what 4 or 5 months old, and it's already got about 6 inches of growth. And there's new growth coming out. You can see here. There's new shoots coming out of it. So it is vigorous, and it produces very large, very productive. I haven't tasted it myself, but I want a fast-growing tree here to shade the shed from the afternoon sun. And you can imagine here if we're having like a breakfast or dinner, and you have these mangoes dripping. It's just it's amazing.
So in terms of fertilizer, what do you do?
Sorry?
What fertilizer do you use?
Okay, I'll show you the fertilizer here. This is the fertigation system that I use. I bought it if anyone's interested from Easy Flow online. It's I think a company based in Juru, Sydney. So that's an irrigation shop that sell online all sorts of irrigation items and systems, and you buy this online. It's about $300 for this drum.
Hold on, what's going on here? Like you bought the fertigation system?
Okay, so the fertigation system, which is just that drum there,
Okay.
it comes with some of the fittings needed to connect it back to the tap.
Okay.
That's on its own, but then all this and the irrigation system I've done myself. I just got it from Bunnings, from the warehouse.
Right.
You know, I ran it myself, and then you connect the fertigation system to your irrigation system. You can see there, so see these little houses? That's all it is. So one
will put the water in.
One is straight mains water goes into the drum, which you have concentrated liquid fertilizer in there. Then there's an outlet that goes back into your irrigation system. So you can see here, so if I turn, it's on a timer, it's on now. So the water goes in there, mixes with the liquid fertilizer, then comes out through there, mixes back with the raw water, and goes back in the irrigation system, and it saves you a lot of headaches, a lot of...
So what if I don't want to use the fertilizer, I just want to do the watering? Like how do you...
You're saying just irrigation?
Just irrigation.
Yeah, so basically, you know, you buy a roll from your warehouse, your hardware house, of this irrigation
No, I'm just saying, like, do you fertilize every time? Do you irrigate?
Okay. So for me, if I don't want to fertilize it, it's got valves. Yeah, see those mini valves? So off, it's straight water now.
Okay, right.
So it's very practical. So when you want to fertilize, you switch the valve on, fertilizes.
Okay, even if you are irrigating and if you are not using it, the water will go through those pipes, but it will not mix.
If you turn those little valves off, it will bypass the whole system.
Okay, right.
Yeah, because you know the inlet pipe, that's the inlet pipe from the tap. Once you turn that off, that's it.
What is the capacity of the system?
The capacity system, off the top of my head, not
like
sure.
2 liters,
but
3
basically, the actual system itself, I think it's about 3 liters.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about 3 liters. But 3 liters of concentrate, so I'll put, you know, sea salt in there and organic liquid fertilizers. So from a full 3 liter drum, they reckon it'll break into about 400 liters of fertilized water. For every 3 liters of concentrated liquid fertilizer, produces about 300 to 400 liters of water.
I need something
which
like
is,
this.
yeah, it's, I mean, look, once I went this way, I will never go back.
Yeah, you just fill it up, open up the...
That's it. So you open up the cap, you pour your sea salt, whatever you want in there, shut it back, turn the timer, walk away whenever you want to fertilize. And it's, you know, every because, you know, 300-400 liters, it will last you almost the whole season.
So what do you... Okay, the last question I have is, how can people reach you out if they want to follow what you are doing?
Yeah, so we've recently, at the request of my kids, usually I'm very private. I don't like doing sort of anything like that, or even in my own channel, I don't really show my face. We keep it private, but for you, I'll make an exception. So they convinced me to open up a YouTube channel. They said, Dad, look, you love gardening, Mum loves cooking, just open up a channel and just put it out there. And so we did. They opened it for me. I don't know anything about, I'm a bit of a dinosaur when it comes to tech and things like that. They opened up a channel for me. They named it, they called it Dad's Super Saiyan Garden. So if you go to YouTube, you search for Dad's Super Saiyan Garden, one word.
It will appear on the screen, so no issues.
It will appear, yeah. Dad's Super Saiyan. Super Saiyan, so that's an anime superhero.
Yeah.
It's from Goku from Dragon Ball. I grew up watching it actually. It's still going till now apparently, you know. So Dad's Super Saiyan Garden, and basically we do videos. I do take care of the gardening, anything gardening, whether it's aesthetics or fruits or veggies, anything like that. The wife does the cooking, so I'll bring her things from the garden, whether it's eggplants or chilies or antipastas or just traditional dishes. She cooks it and we document it and we'll put it online.
One bonus question, what is the fruit that you are really looking forward to that you haven't had yet?
From my garden?
From your garden. It should grow here.
From my garden, at the moment, I've had this mango. This year it'll be Nam Dok Mai. Okay. For this year, but if I had to pick one from my garden at the moment, it'll be the orange sherbet.
Okay. And Black Madeira fig?
I've had it before from my garden, but I refuse to judge it because it's a weak tree. So it can't produce the right flavors in there, and so it wouldn't be fair to say no, it's not as good as they say, because my tree is struggling. You can see it's not
So
very
orange
happy.
sherbet mango you are looking forward to.
Yeah, because
next couple
I've
of years,
tasted
yeah.
everything else basically, apart from that one from my garden and this one. So this one is for this year. Orange sherbet
This
probably
will
a
be
couple.
any day now. Like it's
Yes,
there.
yeah, you can see it's started to change. Same with the I don't know how your mangoes are, but my Kensington Pride or Bamboo, that it's
Mine
started
are
to
very small, like less than 3-year-old.
Okay, yeah. But you can see how they're getting that rosy color.
Yep.
You know, if you look at that one,
yeah.
see that rosy peachy color?
Yep.
That's an indication, as you know, that it's getting close to the ripening stages. So I would say, yeah, like a few weeks, a couple of weeks or so, you will start eating.
Why are you not covering them?
I usually leave them. I've never had a problem with birds or bats. The only time basically around this, when I start seeing color, that's when I cover them. Because that's when they start emitting the scent and the aroma, and that's when bats pick them.
Yep.
But up until I've never, in all that 10 years, never had a problem with bats. Up until when they become ripe and aromatic, that's when I can. So basically, maybe this weekend I'll cover them because they're becoming aromatic.
Alright. Thank you so much, Ahmed, for having me and showing
That's
me
okay.
around.
So basically, before you leave,
Okay.
before you leave, my wife just made you a little something. Just you can't come here on and leave empty-handed.
After I cut this video, I'm running from here.
No, you can't run. You're leaving here with maybe 5-6 kilos extra. What do you think? I'm losing my six-pack. She just makes amazing food. Thanks for coming here. Yeah, don't forget to share, like, subscribe if you like what you see, and thanks for Bilal for giving me the opportunity. And I'm a big fan of his. Before he actually contacted me, I was a member or a subscriber of his channel because I like what he does, and it's good to see fellow Sydney-siders try and
we need more people from Sydney sharing their fruit trees and
fruit trees, and to show what works, what doesn't work. Ben is doing it, and there's a few others, but not many. So it's like a small community of backyard fruit growers.
Small community in the biggest city of Australia.
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly. So thanks very much for coming, and I hope you enjoy what we showed you today.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.